analysis. Pre-service surveys were quantified to compare the expectation levels of pre-service teachers with those of administrators. So what I was looking at was to determine, did they have different levels of higher expectations for certain areas than what the administrators had? And then responses will be ranked based on numerical values from highest to lowest. And then teacher responses were compared to those of administrators to determine if the expectations of pre-service teachers are in alignment with those of principals who hired them. And pre-service teacher end of the year surveys will be quantified with the same ranking system used for their pre-service surveys that were administered at the beginning of the year, again, to ascertain, have they changed their philosophy of what was expected of them from the beginning of the year. And then this data will be compared to the perceptions these same teachers had at the beginning of the year to determine if a shift in expectation perceptions had changed over the course of the year. And the final set of data to be analyzed will be the post-service teacher surveys. And this set will quantify the attitudes of post-service teachers based on the Likert scale from 1 to 5, indicating certain categories that would be reasons for them leaving the profession. And then those items scoring the lowest, indicating a negative attitude toward that factor of the profession, will be identified. And then analytical methods. Likert scales are very easy to analyze, and the reason why is because it is quantitative data. However, with the Likert scale, the mean cannot be used as a measure of central tendency, as it has no meaning. It makes no sense for me to look at how many chose between strongly agree and strongly disagree, and what is the range in between there, since it's a integer-based scale. And then the most appropriate measure of the data collection in these surveys was using the mode to determine the most frequent responses, as well as looking at the median responses to determine the central tendencies of answers. And then based on this analysis, the researcher was able to ascertain the ranked order of expectations and concerns of the participants. So some of the limitations and delimitations of the study. The limitations of the study come with the participation of post-service teachers responding to the survey. I can only control the fact that I send it out to them. It is completely up to the post-service teachers to respond to those surveys. And the data collector will only reflect the current state of the school district studied and not necessarily representative of other school districts in the state or the country. And then one of the delimiters of the study come from accurately identifying the actual factors that may need to lead to the exodus of new teachers. This could be based on my perception of what I think might be actual reasons why teachers would leave. And then the ethical issues of the study. Participants in the study should be given informed consent before participating in the survey. So in other words, they've got to give their consent. And the researchers must inform the respondents of the study's purpose, content, duration, and potential risks and benefits, as well as informing the respondents that they do not have to answer all of the survey questions. It's completely up to them. And the researcher must also inform the respondents that they can stop participating in the study at any point. And then finally, confidentiality and anonymity. It is absolutely imperative that the researcher keep respondents' identities confidential. And the researcher will not link respondents' identifiers to their survey responses when using the data. And then common identifiers include social security numbers, names, addresses, telephone numbers, all of which will be avoided. And the researcher must ensure the anonymity of all participants. And that's it.
A question. And this, I don't know if this will be something on your on the survey, but is there going to be anything that dictates that maybe documents teacher satisfaction based on if like legislation is an issue why teachers are leaving? If they're like, will they have the ability to say that if like changing rules or if it's
definitely one of the things I'm going to be looking at in the study is asking teachers. Do they feel like they cannot keep up with the constant changing legislation? Because that is one of the common things that is identified in the literature, that a lot of teachers get very frustrated that they feel like once they've met one criteria, all of a sudden the legislation will come and change the criteria, and now they've got to go back through a whole new process and re-identify how they're teaching. But yes, that will definitely be one of the contributing factors.
I wonder from looking at this if there will be a large difference in the reason why teachers leave based on whether they leave within the first 1 or 2 years or if they leave in that 5th year.
I would think so too as well, because I would think that the attitudes of the 5th year teacher who leaves the profession might be a little bit different than the 1st year teacher who leaves the profession, because they've identified within that 1st year, hey, this just isn't for me, as opposed to a 5th year teacher might be like, well, I'm washing my hands of this is just too frustrating, I don't want to deal with it. So yes, that's a very, very good look at that. And that would be another good way of breaking down the data and diversifying and trying to find a different subset of the data, yes. Any other questions? Thank you guys for being here, appreciate it.